Boisean's brain about someday writing a book. Then in 1981, Hatcher put pen to paper after getting inspired by someone else who had taken the literary leap.
Read an article in a newspaper in the Idaho Statesman about someone whose first book had been published. And I'd had this idea rolling around in my head, and I thought, gosh, if they could do it, maybe I could do it.
Just 3 years later, Hatcher had not one, but 2 books published. And since then, she's written almost 80 other novels, nearly all of them set right here in the Gem State.
I love my state. I'm a native, and I love it from up at the Panhandle to eastern Idaho to the desert, the mountains. So I love being able to show it to other people. Kings Meadow is based on Garden Valley. Idaho City has been the location for a couple of historicals.
And while Hatcher does sometimes change the names and the topography of certain Idaho gems to fit her fiction, if she's writing about the state's capital city, you'll know it.
Of course, if I'm writing about Boise, Boise's really Boise.
Which then sends many readers on a mental or actual scavenger hunt, trying to figure out the places Hatcher's stories are written around.
My very first contemporary novel was The Forgiving Hour, and it was set in Boise. And people had so much fun. I mentioned a greasy spoon, which is where a significant part of the story, a turning point happens. And there was a lot of trying to figure out what was the greasy spoon that I was referring to.
Readers will also find that Hatcher likes to dabble in different eras, from modern day to centuries past.
So I've written a lot of historicals, 1800s, World War II, World War I era.
Hatcher's books are written mostly in the genre of Christian fiction, and most have a love story at the center. And while faith and romance are central to Hatcher's stories, this Made in Idaho author says there's one theme in particular she hopes her readers pick up on.
I would say that always my books are about hope.
Okay, so while most of her books are set right here in Idaho, they reach people across the world. Many of her books have been translated into different languages. She says she doesn't even know quite how many countries her books are in, because sometimes the publishers will sell the books to other foreign publishers and they get translated that way. So she reaches a global audience.
Yeah, here in Boise, she's talking about places in Boise, the Greasy Spoon.
Yeah, so that was just a restaurant she referred to in one of her books. It no longer exists, so I couldn't get her to spill the beans on where it is, but she said people had a really good time trying to figure out where it was.
So she renames things.
Yes,
and then
yeah. So she'll call, like, for instance, Garden Valley in her book series is called Kings Meadow, but the entire area is based around Garden Valley and its topography. Yeah, it's really neat.
Look her up the library.
80 novels.
Wow.
Yeah, and she's got 2 more coming out this summer.
She just writes all the time.
All the time. It's a full-time job.